everyone, I'm Ray, and this is
Allison.
And we're here with Joanna Wilson, the author of the Christmas TV Companion. Hi Joanna, it's nice to have you here.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Our Christmas special of Teen Focus. Mind telling us a little bit about your book? When did it get published?
My book first came out last year, so this is the second Christmas that it's out.
Cool, cool.
And it says here, it's a guide to cult classics, strange specials, and outrageous oddities.
Right. This is sort of a book written about the Christmas specials, episodes, and movies that sort of break the rules of what we expect from a traditional Christmas program.
Cool. Well, so we both read it, and something I found interesting was all the rules of Santa. You talk a lot about like weird, well, broken rules of Santa, all these weird Santas and all these different specials that kind of break the rules. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, Santa is a fairly traditional character. We're all familiar with what he looks like. He's going to wear, you know, a red hat with white fur and a red suit and the big black boots, and he says ho, ho, ho. But yet on TV and even in the movies, there are certain exceptions to these rules where Santa doesn't look like what we expect him to look like, and so I include several of those programs.
Okay, yeah. So one of them that I liked, you have a whole section called When Santa Attacks. Why can so many creepy Santas emerge?
Well, I mean, you're referring to a section where I'm talking about, you know, axe-wielding Santas and killer Santas.
Yeah.
And this is certainly breaks the expected traditions of what we expect from Santa, the kind, child-loving gentleman from the North Pole. But fear and horror is certainly a part of Christmas and has been for a really long time. Even Charles Dickens, who wrote, you know, one of the most popular Christmas books ever, you know, a Christmas Carol, that book was written in the mid-19th century, and that book is a very scary story, which includes 4 ghosts. So clearly, horror and even being scared and frightened at Christmas is certainly a part of what's going on. But
yeah,
there are lots of examples of killer Santas that I write about.
I was looking at it, I was like, as scary as I thought that coal could be, what's with all the dark themes in Christmas?
Well, certainly Christmas, we expect Christmas programs to be optimistic and hopeful and looking towards a bright future, and yet there are still some movies and programs that sort of break that expectation and present some sort of really dark story. And these are bizarre and strange and yet hilarious at the same time.
Yes. One of the creepy shows that you talked about in your book, it really actually creeped me out a lot. I was like reading it, I was like, ugh. It's called Christmas Fantasy. Do you mind telling us a little, telling our viewers of what that's about?
That's a filmed short, from a theatrical short from the 40s, I believe. And it's intended to be a charming little story about Santa visiting children at Christmas time, but it is nightmarish. I don't know if they had low budgets or didn't have laundry as a part of their budget or something, but this Santa, his suit is clearly disheveled and dirty and grungy and old and worn and even moldy looking, and he kind of, when he visits the children while they're sleeping, he stands over them in a very menacing, sort of creepy way. It is wonderful. It's hilarious.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're most familiar with like the TV movies that we see on ABC Family, but you collect a lot of different materials. What are those different materials that you've watched to come up with what you have in the book?
Well, a lot of what I watch, what's in the book, I've seen on TV too. Or I've been able to find on DVD. And in fact, I worked on that from the book. I made sure that everything was accessible, or nearly everything is accessible that's in the book. So everything is on DVD, it's on TV regularly, or it's you know, on Netflix or Blockbuster.com or at the library. I use the library a great deal.
Because I know some of them were theatrical productions, and then movies, and did you do TV episodes also?
Right.
Yeah.
As well as movies that were released originally in the theaters, but now we watch them on TV. Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without, you know, A Christmas Story and even It's a Wonderful Life, although those are originally written or originally released into movie theaters. They're on TV now. And
same with Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Right.
I love that movie. I'm sure a lot of our viewers like it too.
You can watch it at Halloween and at Christmas.
Yeah, it's like dual. It's awesome. Yeah.
That's a holiday favorite.
Yeah, I just watched Corpse Bride. I love Tim Burton. He has awesome, like...
Tim Burton is awesome. He's got a dark sensibility, and people often forget that his earlier movie, Edward Scissorhands, also takes place at Christmas.
Yeah.
And it's sort of framed by this discussion of an elderly Kim Boggs, Winona Ryder. She's sort of explaining how their town gets blanketed in snow every year, and then we see the story about Edward Scissorhands, the isolated guy that lives up in the mansion.
Tell us the story.
Why don't I? I love that movie, and who doesn't? But the story also climaxes when Edward is excluded by the community members and they chase him back up into the mansion. If you remember, the Boggs family are having their Christmas family party that evening and nobody attends because they're all on the streets chasing down Edward Scissorhands. People often forget that that's actually takes place at Christmas, but it does.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of The Grinch, where they're all like shunning the Grinch.
Yeah.
Is it a lot of like the same type of themes across, or do you see a lot of variation like within the different Christmas stories?
There are a lot of commonalities. I see a lot of Scrooge and A Christmas Carol in The Grinch too, but this story of a misfit or somebody who doesn't fit in, which we also recognize from Rudolph, has been done again and again, and even The Grinch plays off that a little bit.
And you talk about that too in your book. You say Rudolph, Grinch, and Charlie Brown Christmas. Those are three of the most watched.
Well, those are the standards. Everybody has seen those.
Right, right.
And even the people that make Christmas animation now, they grew up watching those too. And there are a lot of programs that sort of start there and spin off from there.
Spin-offs, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they pay tribute.
Everyone's seen the classics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of modern Christmas animated specials right now, you'll see little tributes to a Charlie Brown Christmas special. You'll hear some jazz music, or one of the characters will say "Good grief," which we should recognize as they're paying tribute to one of the classic Christmas specials.
What's your favorite classic Christmas special?
I love Charlie Brown Christmas. That's
me too.
I grew up watching that, and when I was in elementary school, my teachers created a school pageant play for the school and for our parents, which was based on that Christmas special. And even in second grade, I was already a big fan of that show. I knew what that show was all about, and I knew the story already, and I was cast as Peppermint Patty. So
awesome.
So yeah, since second grade, I've been obsessed with Peppermint Patty, and my best friend was cast as Lucy, so I remember all her lines from the show, and every year when I watch it, in my head, I'm saying her lines again, and I remember those rehearsals and everything, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I don't know how old I was before I realized Peppermint Patty doesn't even appear in the original special. The teachers wrote that part in. I think they added a couple other parts too, just to include more kids.
It was so
but it's like, I'm not even in the original. So.
Hey, I think it's great still.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us about the Star Wars Holiday Special?